Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to be hearing from Christy Matthews, Senior Counselor at Baker High School.
And Cassandra Holman, Freshman Counselor at Davidson High School.
Thank you. So we wanted to talk to you today about three things. One, the precautions that teens should be taking at this time, things that you can do to cope with what's going on in the world right now, and how you can be preparing for your next steps when all of this is over. So, according to the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, these are some of the things that you could be doing to take care of yourself and your loved ones. Wash your hands frequently, avoid touching your face, stay home if you're sick, cover your face if you cough or you sneeze, and frequently clean areas that you touch. Also, according to the Centers for Disease Control, these are some things that you can do to keep yourself calm and stable throughout this time. Make sure that you take some breaks from watching the news or reading or listening to the news. Take care of your body. So take deep breaths, stretch frequently. Don't just stay in front of the TV or in front of your games. Try to eat healthy, exercise, and avoid drugs and alcohol always. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Christy?
I think you pretty much covered the bases. I think that at times we do need to take a break from the things that we hear in the media because there's so much of it and it can kind of consume you. So that following things like taking the breaks, I think that's a good idea from the news and finding other things to watch, happy movies, comedies, lighthearted things like that help to also change your mood and your outlook.
Yes, This is a very trying time for everybody, so it is important to take a break from all of the very serious news that's out there.
Exactly.
Make sure that you take time for yourself to unwind. We realize that you all are worried about school, and so you're spending hopefully a good portion of your day working on your enrichment activities and maybe working on your school work with your teachers, but also take some time to unwind for yourself. So play your games. Do make sure that you're socially distant from your friends. So if you are getting together with your friends, please make sure that you're maintaining a proper distance because we want this to be over just as soon as you do. And one of the important things that we all have to do is we need to maintain our social distance from one another.
And of course, you all are very tech savvy. So, I would even go so far as to encourage playing games. Of course, you can do that via your social media playing games and having Scrabble games and different things like that. There's so many apps out there. This is the time for you to utilize those things. You can do those things without having to actually be physically present with someone, but still have fun and enjoy yourself.
Absolutely. All right. One thing that we would like to encourage you to do is to connect with others. Reach out to someone that maybe you haven't reached out to in quite some time. Don't forget your elderly relatives. So find a connection with people during this time. Make sure that you are taking this time to talk about your feelings. So find a trusted adult that you can talk to and connect with to talk about your feelings and your concerns. This is very important. We don't want you to keep your feelings to yourself ever, but especially during this time.
Exactly, and that's so important. And many of you do have good support groups around you. This is the time to talk with your friends, and I'm sure some of them are having some of the same thoughts and emotions. And you can get those things out and talk about them in a healthy environment that will help you to cope with just sometimes being away from your friends all the time, present in their face and talking to them that way.
It is amazing because a lot of times you might be feeling a certain way, and when you mention it to a friend and you find out that they feel the same way or they have the same feelings, it does make you feel better.
It does make you feel better, yes.
So make sure that you take this time to connect with others.
Yeah.
All right. Some activities that we came up with that we thought you could do during this time is read. We are educators at heart always, so we always would encourage you to pick up a book and read. I know many of you probably have books that have been sitting around. Now's the time to pick that book up and read. If you do have that online access, the Kindle app is a good place, and you can find free books on Kindle. I'm always reluctant myself to buy books on Kindle, but surprisingly, there are some good free books out there. Oftentimes, those books are by new authors that want their name out there, and they can be surprisingly good. I did find a website called read.gov. That's READ.gov, and that website has all the classics. So if there are some classics that you're interested in reading, visit that website. Also, the Mobile County Public Library has an app that you can download, and you can read books for free. Now, I know on that website, you usually can only check the book out for 2 weeks, I think it is, and you have to use your library card to set up your account. So if you don't have a library card, try the Kindle app or read.gov.
Yes, and I think there's even Audible out there as well, so that you can listen to books.
Yes.
And that's also helpful to keep you occupied, to keep your mind occupied during this time.
Yeah. Another way that we thought of for you to connect with your family and friends is by writing an old-fashioned letter. So when we were young, that's what we did. We had pen pals, and we actually wrote them letters. So, and it's very fun to get a letter in the mail. So you would be surprised. Take a moment and write your friend a letter. They would really enjoy it. And I did take a moment to write out an envelope for you to show you that in this corner is where you put your address. In the middle is where you put the address that you want the letter to go to. And then you do have to go to the post office and purchase a 55-cent stamp in order to send this letter. So
I would say that's an awesome idea, because in this day and age, with us being so apt to pick up our technological devices, the art of letter writing has sometimes, gone by the wayside. So how awesome it would be for you to go to your mailbox and see that your friend took the time to put pen to paper and write you a note or a letter just to see how you're doing. Write someone that you haven't spoken with in a long time, someone you're thinking about, just to let them know that you care and you're thinking about them during this time, I think would be an awesome thing to do.
Yeah. So we also said that you could call someone. I know a lot of times students are accustomed to texting or sending messages, but you can call someone and have a friendly conversation. Work on those communication skills while you're at home. Some of you may be quarantining yourselves, or your families may have you quarantined. So take a moment to call someone on the phone and actually have a conversation. Keep the conversation friendly. No gossiping. But there are all kinds of things that you can talk about and work on those communication skills. Another activity that we decided you could possibly do is cook dinner for your family.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I know your family would really enjoy that. You can work on your math skills by measuring, and then sit down and eat together. Whenever I have students come to my office and they talk about their siblings, I always ask, are you nice to your siblings? So this is a great time to really get to know your siblings and connect. So sit down and share a meal together, laugh, and tell jokes with one another.
Exactly. And if you are like Miss Matthews, watching the Food Network, you know, you can always find a good new recipe to try with your family at night. So it can kind of be somewhat of an experiment, you know, and just maybe even a family challenge. Who has the best recipe for the week?
I love it.
You know, so
that's awesome.
you never know, you know, what kind of skills you'll develop, you know, over the course of this time. So
That's right.
use it wisely. Be creative with it, you know.
Yes. Do take time during this time to exercise. There are all kinds of videos out there for free, so that you can find some exercise to do right there in a small little area in your house. If you have the space outside and you can exercise outside, please take the time to do that. Just a simple workout plan, you know, just write it out. Just say, today I'm going to do, you know, 100 sit-ups. I'm going to do 25 push-ups, crunches, and whatever it is that you like to do or feel like you need to do. Don't underestimate the power of Google. You can always find exercise plans there, but do make sure that you take this time to take care of your body and exercise.
That is true. A 30 to 45-minute walk does wonders for your mind and your body and your spirit. So
absolutely,
you know, do take advantage of that.
Yes.
You know, that time for yourself.
All right. Another thing that we thought it would be important for you to do is to try to make and keep a schedule every day. You know, because you don't have to get up and go to school every day, it becomes easy to sleep in and maybe not be as productive as you would hope to be. So take the time, either on your phone or on your device or on a piece of paper, write out a schedule for yourself. That's very important so that you can stay focused, and it'll help you keep your health and safety in mind. And it'll also keep you motivated for your next steps.
Right.
That's another thing that we really want you to be thinking about, is what you need to be doing
to prepare yourself for the next steps, your coming school year. For graduates, what will happen after your time as a high school student, what you're going to embark upon. That's going to be very important for you, and it should be very exciting.
Yeah. So if you're in grades 8 through 11, one of the things that the counselors hope that you're doing is we hope that you're visiting your high school website and going to the guidance page and filling out your course requests for next year.
Yes.
If you have any questions about that, please email your counselors. I can assure you, your counselors are thinking about you and they miss you.
Yes.
So please email us with any questions that you have, and please take the time to fill out your course requests for next year. For you seniors, Miss Matthews has some really important information for you as far as getting prepared for your next step.
Yes. At this time, I just wanted to talk to my seniors and just let you know that as senior counselors, we do feel your pain. We know that, you know, many of you are not going to have the opportunity to walk across the stage this year, and that, you know, with COVID-19 out there, that this has kind of interrupted that senior process, that milestone for you. However, we want you to start to think about what's to come. Begin to get excited about what is in your future. Know that, you know, this too shall pass, and that you have great things to look forward to, be it college or work, what have you, but there are things to come. So I just wanted to share some things with you, especially those who are about to embark upon that college or university, or even just embarking upon the workplace after you have officially graduated, which many of you have by now. So I do want to share some tips with you for those of you who are going to set foot on that campus in the summer for some of you, and in the fall. So I'm going to share just some tips with you for that future college student about how to conduct yourself when you actually get to that point in your life and you're on that college campus. What do you do? How do I behave? Do we throw all of our manners out the window? No, we do not. So first and foremost, we want to know, why do we need to know social etiquette for as a college student? It still applies. It's very important for a smooth transition in your life to make sure others are comfortable around you. And of course, it does help to make that lasting positive first impression with your professors and other people that you're going to encounter in this time of your life. First things first, say thank you. Many times we forget to say something just as simple as that. It costs you nothing to be polite. And I think, Cassandra, you can agree with that sentiment.
Yes.
Having a college student, you know what it's like to maybe remind your wonderful daughter. You probably haven't had to do that, but just reminding them to, be gracious to people, especially at this time. You're going to receive a lot of things, gifts, college supplies that you're going to need, sheets, towels, what have you, money, gifts of money. You will receive that. Be mindful that you need to make sure and take that time out to thank those who have blessed you in that manner by either a simple phone call or even some type of correspondence. If it's just a quick email or even a text, preferably a thank you note. A handwritten thank you note is always best. To make sure that they understand how thankful you are for something that they did not have to do. So making sure that you say your pleases and your thank yous is very important. Always remember that. It can make someone's day, and of course it makes you feel better to know that you've done that. Next thing, honoring your commitments. Many of you, as college students, and you like to become involved and plugged in, and we encourage you to do that, to be involved, to get out there and join clubs, join organizations. But more importantly, honor your commitments. If you have a meeting with someone, or if you're supposed to be somewhere at a particular time, this is the time that you want to keep your word, honor what you say. Make sure that you communicate with those that are involved in that particular group if you cannot make it, because that's very important. And always remember to follow through on your commitments. That's so important.
That is very important. Remember, you're an adult.
Yes,
After
you are.
the world is going to treat you differently once graduation happens. So honoring your commitments is very important.
That is important. Respecting others. First and foremost, respecting yourself in just your conduct, not forgetting who you are and who you belong to in terms of what your parents have instilled in you, making sure that you make the right choices, but respecting other people that are involved in the everyday operational process of your school. Making sure that you respect everyone from the cafeteria worker to your resident assistant, your professors, administrators, being respectful of them. It costs you nothing, and you'll hear me say this quite a bit through this presentation, that it costs you nothing to be polite. Making sure that you know that disrespect is never the option, it's never the answer, but always being humble and making sure that you are respectful of other people.
Definitely will go a long way in how you're treated too in college or in the workplace.
Yes, it does. It does. Professional communications, and I think that's very important. If you're having to communicate an issue with one of your college or university administrators, if you have to talk to a professor about a particular issue, or if you have to just simply communicate with a student that may be in a group. You will encounter working with so many different people, at this time in your life, and you're going to have to know how to effectively communicate with them, be it through an email, be it Twitter, be it text. Always making sure that, you proofread everything that you send, to these people, because you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward, making sure that they're understanding what you're saying, and so that you get the results that you're wanting to get. Make sure you're using appropriate titles. If they are a professor, or if it's Miss, Mr., or Mrs., making sure you take the time to know that they may be Dr. so-and-so, making sure that you address them as such. Correct tone in an email or a text is always essential, because you have to realize that they're reading what you have written, and so their perception is going to be everything. So make sure that your tone is appropriate, that you're not being too short with someone, or that you're coming off a little bit aggressive. So you always want to make sure that you're being mindful of that.
And so important.
It is, and these things will transcend into your actual career. So make sure that you are mindful of this. Next, we'll talk about dressing appropriately. I think that's so important. Even though you're no longer, some of you will still be in your parents' homes. However, some of you will not. And you should be mindful that, even though you may have the liberty of going to class in your pajamas, should you do that? No. Not at all.
Just don't do that.
No. You want to be presentable always. Always be presentable. Make sure you just practice daily hygiene,
Yes.
combing your hair, making sure you shower every day, making sure you put on clean clothes, giving yourself that time to wake up in time to prepare for the day, making sure that you look your best when you leave to go to class. I think that's important. It makes others feel, as though, hey, this matters to you. It speaks volumes to your professors. So I think that's very important.
Yes.
Greeting your professors, I think that's important as well.
Yes.
Always speaking, always saying good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Answering when they speak to you, that's always important. So take notice of your behavior. Holding the door, which may seem very insignificant, but oh so very important. It's when you enter a building or a room, make sure to smile or say thank you, and make sure you just take that extra moment to hold the door for someone. It costs you nothing to be polite. All right, cleaning up after yourself in the cafeteria, in the library, in your dorm room. I think that's very important to make sure that you're respectful of other people, making sure that you tidy up after yourself, any common areas in your dorm room, making sure that you take the time to try and make your bed. I know that's a big leap for some of you, especially with a college schedule. However, just trying to maintain that peace amongst your roommate and yourself is very important. And to do that, a lot of times it's just the small things like picking up after yourself and making sure your room is clean. So in closing, and I know that was rather quick, however, we just wanted to share some good little nuggets for you to take with you. And I hope that this helps you all in some way. And congratulations to each and every one, our seniors in the class of 2020.
Yes,
Stay safe and healthy.
Well, that concludes our presentation for today. Just know that we're thinking about you all. We miss you all. We can't wait for all of this to be over as well, so that we can see you again in person.
Yes.
But take care of yourself. Keep preparing for your future.
Yes.
And we hope to see you soon.
Yes, we do.